Sing along. Okay.
Happy sounds. I got cheese balls.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd.
Buy me some peanuts and other crap. I don't care if I ever come back.
Because the Sox are leading
For the Dodgers.
They
win the shame.
Because it's 5:30.
Five,
Still
10 bucks you're out and
the Dodgers are
losing. Hey, I think we were singing our own version there. Right?
I think we were. Yes, we were.
See, we used to sing the Padre game. It was take me out the ball game. I don't care if I ever come back. Root for the home team. If they don't win, it's the same. It's 1-5, $10 you're out at the old ball game.
Oh.
That was back when it was really $10.
It was hip too.
Yeah, it was. It was. We had another song about the Dodgers, but I can't sing that on this song.
When I was a kid, Frankfurt's only cost a nickel.
Gotta wait for the next After Dark, huh?
F the Dodgers. Anyway, it's Rock the Casbah, but you change all the words around, and a lot of it's not PC today, so I probably couldn't get away with singing it, so I won't.
Oh,
That's how it is with Sweet Home Alabama for Tennessee fans. It's FU Alabama and the Florida Gators too, and that's what we sing.
Nice.
It's awesome.
So the Red Sox are winning right now. Is that what you're saying?
2-1. Yes.
2-1.
Finally stopped raining up there.
Top of the third.
Dude, it was crazy. So I was I got the alert on my phone saying there's a tornado watch, which is kind of always uneasy. And when I was driving home from work today, I went through it was probably 50 degrees out, 55 degrees out, and all of a sudden it was clear. I mean, not clear, but it was dark out, but it wasn't raining or anything like that. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, I'm driving down the highway and it was like daylight for 2 seconds from the lightning that happened. It was so bright, and all of a sudden, 3 seconds later, I was just getting pelted with hail for the majority of my drive home. It was crazy.
Nice. This is the second time you've talked about a weird weather phenomenon associated with you in a vehicle. I think you've got some Locke kind of power.
Yeah, I know. Craziness.
Shave your head.
Yeah, it's been a crazy day for sure.
Well,
go ahead, Matt.
Oh no, I was just going to say we had some really strong winds actually that came through Indiana, and we were out for a walk with the family, and right in front of us on the path there's a big huge branch that just kind of falls, and we're like, and so we keep walking, and then another branch falls.
What did you think? Hey, maybe we should go back in the house.
We weren't far away, but we did go home after that, and the next day, it was just like branches everywhere, and but yeah, the winds came through. They were so strong. I was surprised that the tornado siren didn't go off. So maybe those winds came your way.
Blame Matt
from one frame to another.
No, blame the Northwest because that's where the winds.
I blame Indiana.
I blame Canada.
It probably went through Ohio first.
Wow. That's where the wind comes from. They invented wind in Ohio.
They did.
That's how they got the plane up in the air.
First in wind.
First in wind. Yeah, that's Texas. Because of all the beans and stuff. Okay.
Oh, I got it now.
Yeah. Okay. I was slow on the uptake.
Yeah, I have fun.
I got you now.
A couple hours ago, we're walking in Target, my wife and I, getting some crap. And all of a sudden, my phone goes off. I go, about one of our credit cards that we haven't used since January. I go, credit card? She goes, did you use it? I go, well, I'm right next to you. When would I have used it? I go, I don't even have it I don't even have it. So we call, all of a sudden we're getting all these charges on our card. So someone's going hog wild with our card.
Oh.
So we call the company. It takes us forever to get through to them. And then finally get through two people. And they finally put a stop to it. But they go, you don't have the card with you? I go, no. Was it stolen? I go, as far as I know, it's sitting at my house. I go, but I haven't. She goes, why isn't it with you? I go, because I don't plan on using it. Oh. So it's like $101 at Hollister, then $417 for PayPal, and then something else came through, and it's like So they put a stop to it. But I like how my wife immediately turns to me.
Yeah.
I like to spend money. And I go, I was home all day. You had the car. Where was I going to go?
Well, thanks for that donation to all of the patrons.
Oh, you're welcome.
So, through your card. That's a real sneaky way to pay us, but I like that.
Well, I like because they're going, what's the card number? I go, I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's not like you have this stuff memorized.
But my wife knew the last 4 numbers of it.
Oh,
so
okay.
You do that, and I knew my name, so that helped.
Oh.
And my social security number.
Well, yeah, you got to.
Usually the social security number, they'll can find it.
And my mom's maiden name. I knew that, too.
Pretty soon it's going to be blood type. You know that, right?
Oh, yeah, it's fine. Anyway, that was my joy at Target.
A mighty win.
Yeah, that's happened quite a few times.
It's probably someone from Ohio.
Yeah, like the
first in fraud.
The worst one I had was in 2010 when I was in Normandy, and this is before we started putting chips in our credit cards, but they had them in Europe.
Now, did you land on the beach?
I landed on the beach. Yeah, dodged a few bullets.
Nice,
but got some fraud along the way.
Yeah, but that's it,
exactly.
Trap. Well, they had one of the old machines that you put the card down and they do the with it, and you get the carbon copy.
You really need to, because I'm sure there's a lot of kids at home going, I have no idea what Nick's talking about.
What's a carbon copy?
Yeah, what's a carbon copy? Yeah, you get the 3 forms. You get the yellow slip, and the pink slip, and the white. Yeah. And I just immediately saw that, and I was like, I don't know if I feel right about this transaction. And then sure enough, I get back like a week later. It's like, did you buy 2 $500 tickets to the Ice Capades in Paris, France?
Of course I did.
Of course. You caught me. I love me some Ice Capades. I won't miss it.
That was always a pain because when those credit cards, if you had, because where I worked, we'd have like 50 credit cards a day or 60 credit. You ended up calling it verification on all those credit cards at the end of the day. So the credit card wasn't charged at first.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It wasn't charged. So you called up and get number 66, blah, 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 blah. You'd spend an hour on the phone calling in the credit card information. That's why people go, I'm paying with a credit card. You go, oh, come on.
Got to use the old knuckle buster and then read it up later.
Yeah, exactly. No fun at all.
My dog wanted to get on the podcasting tonight.
Well, considering Jay's not here, I think this is very appropriate.
Yeah, someone wanted us to replace someone here with Jay.
Oh, me?
No, it was someone on said, "Oh, Jay, it was
the other guy. It was the other guy."
Yeah, it was a welcome surprise. Can Jay be a permanent? And I go, well, someone has to go. Mm-hmm. I think David Gott said, "Oh, Mac could go. He already has another job."
So this has been I feel like we were just recording yesterday. It's been a shortened experience.
It has.
It has been.
It's good to see you guys twice in less than a week.
Yeah. That sucks.
Sometimes it works out that way.
Hey, I wanted to share a quick story that something that happened today or yesterday, but kind of got to be bigger news today. I think I shared it with you guys in our Facebook thread. I think earlier this afternoon, but so there's this kid in my neighborhood, Sam. I think I may have actually mentioned him on the show before. He's the one who left a love note for my daughter, taped it to our front door.
Wait, how old is this Sam kid? Do I need to go talk to him?
So yeah, I've already told Sam. I gave him the old Robert De Niro from Meet the Parents. Yeah, I got my eyes on you, kid. Sam's sweet boy, super super nice kid. His dad runs a parenting blog called Daddy Files. But his dad's really, really cool guy. They moved to the neighborhood about a year ago, maybe less than a year ago.
Is this the guy next to you that owns half your driveway?
No, not the same number.
Okay, all right.
A little bit down the street. But they moved to the neighborhood about a year ago. They've got 3 boys, ranging from ages of 4th, 5th grade to kindergarten, preschool. And
how old is Sam?
Sam's 5.
5. Okay, all right.
So Sam's a year younger than my daughter. He definitely has
for the older woman, yeah.
He's got a little bit of a romantic crush on my daughter. He left her a love note and taped it to our door, which was cute. But
what did it say?
I forgot.
It said, "I hate toxic masculinity. How about you?"
Yes.
LOL.
It did say that. So check this out. So Sam came home from. So Sam likes to put on nail polish. He just likes it. Yeah, sure. He's a rough and tumble kid who loves his trucks and loves his loves being a little kid, and he also loves collecting purses. He likes to walk around with his mom's purses, and he likes to paint his nails. It's just what he likes to do. So he went to school yesterday, and he had red nail polish. He was wearing it because he likes the color red and wanted to support the Red Sox and the Patriots because
what boy doesn't like to wear red nail polish?
Hey, So he goes to school, and kids at school in kindergarten, started bullying about it.
Kids are brutal.
Made him real uncomfortable, and he came home that day, and he was like, I want to take it off. I don't want to wear it anymore. The kids are making fun of him, all this stuff. Like, kid was heartbroken. And his dad heard about this, and Aaron, his father, Aaron, is great dude. Like, he's a great writer. He's very, very outspoken. I get my daily dose of what's going on in politics from Aaron on a daily basis.
Well, isn't that a requirement to live in Massachusetts?
True. Yeah, true. And I get my daily dose of politics and what's going on in the world through his Facebook feed. Really great guy. But he came home last night and he wrote this. He has like a blog, and he wrote this post that through a series of tweets about the situation and about how his son was subjected to, as Matt was referring to, as toxic masculinity. And it was just really kind of calling it out, just kind of airing his grievance and in sharing the story via his blog post and through Twitter. And overnight, the story blew up. Like, it was all over. It was all over today. Like, he had interview requests for like People magazine, some British news outlets, like Pop Sugar. I'm actually reading the article right now on BuzzFeed. It was one of the trending articles today. And the story got so big, and like all these like celebrities were chiming in. Martellus Bennett, former New England Patriot, like responded to Aaron and showed a picture of he and his daughter painting their nails, and all this stuff. It was just an incredible outpouring of support, for Sam and what was going on. It was just kind of one of those stories that started off really sad, but turned out to be like a really cool ending. Now, don't get me wrong. There's you're always going to have your share of douchebags on the internet, no matter what topic you talk about.
Oh yeah.
But it was an overwhelming majority of positive response to the article, which I thought was really, really cool.
I know a lot of men that will let their daughters paint their nails.
Sure.
And that's how my son started to paint his nails, is that he wanted his nails painted because mom and my daughter, they were painting their nails. So while they're painting their nails, he would like to have his nails painted. He's like 3, or 2 or whatever. It doesn't. Yeah. It's not really. I mean, let's just call painting your nails, the long hair of the 70s.
Sure.
What are you going to be, a girl?
Actually, long hair in the 70s was cool, though.
Oh, okay. Long hair in the 80s, curled and permed out, like
there you go,
boy band. But there's always moments in which I think men embrace the other side of the gender, of femininity,
sure.
and women do it with men, with male things, and I think it's a lot more acceptable going one way than the other. And there's always a little bit of blowback there. I know my dad. My son will wear nail polish, usually more so in the summertime. My wife, trying to avoid such a thing at school going down, I think has always kind of kept it to be more of a summertime thing. And, so my son will wear nail polish and have beaded bracelets that his cousins make for him that are girls, but he's a car loving, Hot Wheels playing, rough and tumble, let's play soccer, let's go out back and play tag, just a boy,
Yeah.
I'm shocked it's that big a deal now.
I know,
because I get know when I was 5 or 6, it was, your hair was a certain length, it was back in the 60s, it was when I was just a kid, and I finally had to beg, Mom, can I let my hair grow up? Finally. But
what happened?
It just kept growing and fell out. It actually went down to my back and everywhere else. It just came up. But anyway, no. But it just
different kind of rat tail there.
I mean, you didn't have guys wearing earrings. You didn't have. I mean, I don't think anyone ever wore nail polish. It was just a different time.
Mm-hmm.
But, you're telling the story now. It's like I can't believe there's that many kids out there that are that at 5 that are such dicks.
Yeah.
I guess it is. Because back when I was a kid, you did everything you could not to be that person that stood out because you'd be picked on, and nobody would. There was no protection back then. There was no, hey, you need to. It was, my day was go suck it up, go take care of it. Don't come home crying to me. It was, your teachers didn't care, nobody cared. You had to suck it up. But now it's, everyone's all, we gotta be understanding people's feelings. So I'm just shocked that that's that bad still.
Right. My one devil's advocate thought though about this was because they're so young, all that's learned from just what they know from experience in their families, and it's up to the parents to say like, hey, just because we live this way doesn't mean that other people do, because I mean, think about it, like gay couples weren't really around when we were growing up. Not much, not accepted the way they are now. But think about it, if you were 5 or 6 and you saw someone that had 2 mommies or 2 daddies, like you as a 5-year-old would probably go, that's kind of weird back in the 80s. But I mean, today you wouldn't think anything about it, but you've got to, explain to your kids, like, well, sometimes it's okay for 2 daddies to like, each other and 2 mommies to like each other, but like as a kid who, they're blurters, all kids are blurters. Blurters for people who don't understand my accent.
Blurters. They're blurters.
Blurters. They just say whatever comes to the top of their head. And that's what I mean. So you've got to say that to kids or help them understand, because if you don't, then that's what I mean. They will just resort to that group think mentality of like cavemen. They're just like, you're not like us. You're weird.
Well, they repeat with their parents.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
And I think that one of the things that we've had in our household as a rule, crap. I thought I had avoided it. I was on mute there for a little bit. This one's for you, JP. I know how much you love that credit card machine of mine. Anyway, we have a certain rule about like your body, your choice, essentially, and trying to promote that idea within them at a very young age that it's like, hey, this is your decision. We're not going to force you, to do something with your body that you're uncomfortable with, and nobody should,
Yeah, and what's interesting is I've been thinking about this all day, right? I mean, it quite literally hits close to home. I mean, it's my neighborhood, but it made me think about this. And yeah, this whole like bullying aspect of whatever, whether it's toxic masculinity or whatever, the whole bullying thing is kind of like intertwined with all of this, and it's true. I mean, it happens at such a young age, whether that's because of parents not necessarily teaching it, but letting it happen at home, or providing an environment where those kids are not being as receptive to other kids. Or, I mean, it's not always the parents' fault. It could be, what the kid's consuming from a media perspective. What are they watching? What are they doing? All this type of stuff. And then you get the kids together, and it's just like, it's like a plague. It grows and it festers. And you have to think about how much that actually happens how many times it happens, but it doesn't happen to a kid whose father isn't Aaron, my buddy, who's very outspoken, right? I can guarantee you, without even asking around, I bet you this happens 1,000 times a day across the state of Massachusetts, at least, right? About you're not always going to have a parent that's willing to stand up on a platform and discuss it, which is, it's admirable to Aaron, that my buddy from down the street. Like, I think he did. I think in a way, his outspokenness and his anger from the situation actually turned it into something bigger than it even was, which is,
it galvanizes and resonates with people, right? Yeah. Like, it's a situation that's kind of like people can say, hey, I think of my cousin, who's a really big dude, you look at him in a bar, you'd say, I'm not messing with that guy.
Yeah.
Now, Matt, I could kick his ass, but that guy, I'm not going to mess with, right?
Right.
So tattoos, just big dude. And, he has 3 daughters. He's always let them paint his toenails and that's something that, he connects with his daughters on. And I think that there's a lot of men that, even if they might not be going out in public and wearing nail polish, sure, it's like, well, it's just paint. It's just paint. Like, what does it matter? It doesn't turn me into,
right.
I was reading some funny comments about how to out straight yourself, and one of the comments was like, I'm so straight, I don't even look at my own penis. There was one that said, I'm so straight that I cut off my penis because anything touching my body that's a penis makes me gay.
You've heard the Rodney Carrington bit. No, it was Ron White. I'm sorry.
There was I'm so straight that I don't even like girls anymore because they like dick. And that's gay. So anyway, just to kind of like throw some levity and some like absurdity to how straight can you be, and how, ridiculous that these gender rules that we throw on each other, both of us, both men and women. Go ahead, Nick. I didn't.
Before Nick goes, we can kind of
sure. Let's just keep it.
Just keep it down.
Wait, Nick, were you continuing the story, or were you going on to something else?
I was going to, something related. I was going to say, have you heard the Ron White bit where he talks about that?
No, go ahead.
Okay, like, because like he's like my brother-in-law or whatever, just one of those dumb idiots, and he was looking at me one day. He goes, this world would be a lot better if there wasn't gay people. And Ron was like, shut up. He's like, everyone's a little gay. And the guy's like, what are you talking about? I'm not gay. And he's like, well, sure you are. And he's like, whatever. And he's like, well, do you like porn? He goes, yeah, I like porn. He goes, do you like it a lot? He goes, yeah, I like watching a man and woman make love. It's sexy. He goes, well, do you like a small little flaccid penis? And the guy's like, no, man, I like hard throbbing go. Like, that sums it up right there.
So although a fantastic reference, it does not have anything to do with poor Sam and his tragic story that happened yesterday. But I will say that they've organized a thing in our town where people are posting on the Facebook group that moms, dads, brothers, sisters alike are going to paint their nails on Friday to support us.
I did want to hear what's the solution?
Nice.
Do you, like you said, you could have the whole town community, but how do you stop? I mean, I know they're having the whole anti-bullying, and you need to be more sensitive, but do you still need to teach your kids
not to be an a-hole?
Well, no, that I'm saying, how do you protect your kids who are ones being bullied? Like I said, in my day, you had to protect yourself, and if I wouldn't have done that, I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now.
I was texting.
I eventually had to learn to suck it up. I had to learn to ignore it and all the different stuff. Like I said, I was a pretty good athlete.
Yeah.
But yet I was always picked last because of my size.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just nonstop. Unless people knew, at school I was always picked. In fact, I got a B one time in my PE class, and the guy and the PE teacher said, "Why did you get a B?" He goes, "Well, you're not picked in the top groups." I go, "So you grade on how they're picked?" I go, "That's a bunch of." Well, I can't say that. I said, he just goes, "You can't talk to me that way." I go, "Well, you give crappy grades." I go, "You're an idiot."
That's terrible.
I mean,
awful way to grade.
I go, "I'm one of the best athletes in the damn class." And he goes, "But you're not picked." I go, because no one wants to be beat by the short guy. It was like the fat guy that, there were certain groups that nobody wanted to be beat by. So putting me in a position where I couldn't beat them.
But then, what if some kid's team captain? I'm going to pick my best friend. I don't care what athlete.
That's how the guy. In my life, because we had PE. It wasn't a once a week thing or once every quarter. It was every day.
Sure.
And I always got an A. And this guy in junior high gave me a B because I wasn't picked first. It wasn't picked in the top 5. I go, but there was nothing I could do about it. I said that's just ridiculous. So my because I know Zach came home one time and Jay and Colleen told us he was being bullied at school because he didn't have the right shirt. I go, come on. I go, in this day and age,
the kid's like 3.
No, he's like 4.5.
4.5.
But that's just the way the kids are. I mean, but it just, I think you still have to work on your kids at home to teach them not to be a bully. But I think you also have to teach your kid how to take it too.
Yeah,
I know that sounds. I know people are going to go, no, they shouldn't have to. No, you shouldn't have to do that.
No, you shouldn't, but you have to. That's the thing.
You have to.
It's how the kid handles it too. Is ultimately, it's so important. Not ultimately, but it's ridiculously important. Because the kids, I mean, look at all the craziness that's happened over the last, 30-something years. These kids acting out, doing crazy stuff at school, whether it's harming others or causing disturbances. It's because these kids haven't learned a way to cope with it. So it's a double-edged sword, right? So we have to teach our kids not to be a-holes to other people, but at the same time, we also have to teach your kids how to respond and how to handle, how
to just give decent respect to other people. You don't have to beat up everybody's there's beliefs just because you think yours is superior. And and I think one key thing that you guys have been talking about is teaching your kids. There's a lot of parents that are just like they don't teach their kids. They leave it to the system. Yeah. And they leave it to the television. And the teachers aren't there to give your kids a moral lesson.
It takes a village, but it has to start at home first.
Yes, no question. The immature side of me today popped out for a hot second because I was texting back and forth with Aaron. He was telling me all the things that are going on. I'm like, well, you should teach the kid how to when he gets back there, he can show those bullies what that particular shade of nail polish looks like when you're picking out your teeth. I mean, obviously that's not the appropriate nor the.
The problem is, though, he would be suspended.
I know.
He would be punished, and I get the whole not fighting stuff, but sometimes it's just I've heard stories where two kids get in a fight where one kid's just protecting himself, and they both get suspended. I go, what is he supposed to do?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's sad. The sadder part of this whole thing is dude, it's kindergarten. Yeah. They're 5 years old, dude. That's crazy to me.
Good.
I sat down with my daughter tonight, and she didn't. No, she's first grade. She isn't. There's no gossip mill at that age. At least that I'm aware of.
So she didn't read the Independent article herself.
She wasn't checking out, BuzzFeed today. Yeah. But we sat down and we explained to her the situation, and I was so proud because she got pissed. She got so mad. But another reason I was so proud of it is because she didn't understand why. Mm-hmm. And I mean, at least I look at that as like, okay, I might be doing something right. Cause she couldn't wrap her head around why it was happening. And she's like, boys like to wear that stuff too. No big deal. Who cares? And she's like, boys like to do girl stuff. And I was like, yes. She's a good kid, but granted, she's probably going behind my back and being a bastard to somebody. But it was a moment of pride. And then when my wife and I told her that we were gonna paint all of us are gonna paint her nails and share it with Sam, she started getting so excited. She's like, I've got so many ideas. I know what I'm gonna do. Dad, I'm gonna paint your nails. Mom, you can paint my nails. And I'm gonna make a T-shirt. And she's like, I want to make him a card. And I was just like, oh, good kids. There's a lot of good kids in the world.
I mean,
most of the kids are good.
Yeah.
I mean, things are improving though. I'm not sure if it was my nephews or maybe I just heard this from someone else. But we grew up watching, except Jack, but The Sandlot, which we loved as kids.
What are you talking about? I love The Sandlot.
I know, but I'm saying as kids we watched it. It was based on your life, Jack.
It was.
Jack watched it in college.
Yeah.
Actually, we took our kids to the movies.
There's the scene, where they're insulting each other back and forth. The poor kids that are the main characters, and then the other kids. And
one of the best lines in movies ever in history, but you can't say it anymore.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. But I don't remember it as my nephews or some other kids. But when he yells that, like, you play ball like a girl, and it just stops everybody, like, that's so insulting. Like, oh my God,
What did you say?
Yeah, and but I mean, I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not sure if it was my nephew or some other story I heard from someone else. But they said, like, that's sexist. and it's just like, wow. Like, because when I was a kid, I wouldn't even never thought that because it's not something that we were taught. It's just like, oh, okay. But I mean, kids are are getting it slowly.
Yeah.
So well, I mean, if we're going to applaud, though, you know, like, and that the girl that was a kicker that won the game with a field goal, and then she also was the homecoming queen. Like, that was awesome, you know.
Wait, what movie are you talking about?
That's quarterback princess, isn't it?
No, it's a real life. So I mean, but I mean, if we're going to like uphold, people that have made strides that way, then we should also have the other way. And so
I've always
it's okay. It's okay for men to embrace these other things. Boys.
I've always wondered like why girls don't play football a lot. You know, because if they're good enough to make the team, let them play. You know,
right?
I never would have thought anything about it if a girl wanted to play football. With me, I mean, when I remember thinking that in high school, I was like, if you're good enough, then come on, play.
Yeah, it's funny. I was at my daughter's cheerleading practice the other day. Yeah, she cheerleads for. I put those in quotation marks.
Run away.
It's the YMCA, and then they get together on Friday nights, and they just jump around and do crazy stuff while the other kids are playing.
Cheerleading is a cult.
Flag football.
Run away.
Trust me, I know. And my best part though is like at one point during the cheerleading stuff, I look over and she's not cheering; she's watching the football game. And afterwards, I'm like, "Hey, how come you weren't cheering before?" She goes, I was watching. I think I want to play. I'm like, yes, yes, this is awesome. So yeah, it's interesting, right? I mean, she doesn't have, she hasn't at least yet had a whole lot of interest in group sports in the sense, and I'm not trying to offend any cheerleaders out there, but I know how much of a group sport cheerleading is. But I'll tell you, cheerleading at this age is anything but cats running around and trying to herd them. Like that's pretty much what cheerleading is at this age.
To be fair, it's like t-ball.
Yeah, I mean, she's tried soccer. You know, she's done a few other things too, and she just isn't drawn towards like the team sports, like your basic, the basic few, like the baseball, the football, softball, t-ball, any of those. She just hasn't had any interest in. She doesn't want to do it. But then she was watching while she was cheerleading, and she's like, I can do that. She's like, I can run fast. And I'm like, yeah, man, whatever you want. Whatever you want. But I'm all about giving her the opportunity to try anything she wants. Like let her do any of these activities and any of these sports, and see what you like and what you love. You do. That's it.
One of the things I wanted to talk about, just going like to be competitive and kids not being raised or being raised properly and things like that, is because, of course, you have one girl. Matt has a boy and a girl, right, Matt?
I got the set, yeah.
Yeah, and then Jack raised 3 girls.
Yeah.
And Jack has the flip side of what I was going to say, but like my oldest nephew is naturally good athletic and he's really smart. And younger brothers, in every experience I've known, always want to be better than their older brothers in everything, and it makes them super, super competitive. And my youngest one is 7 now, and he is the biggest a-hole playing any sport. I played him in horse over the 4th of July, and of course I'm kicking his butt. And he is just getting mad and madder and madder that, a 37-year-old man is beating him in horse.
What, a 7-year-old?
Yeah.
Okay, you got to slam dunk this one.
On top of it, yeah.
But I had 3 cousins, three boy cousins, and the youngest one probably made it the most as far as like with his athleticism, as far as like getting to be goalie for a college and getting a scholarship. And their dad was a basketball player, and so there was a little bit of influence like of that on all 3 of them, but I know that he went the furthest, and my son is super competitive.
Yeah.
Like with his cousins, like we had a donut eating contest over the weekend. They have what's called cousin power.
Were you hanging out with cops?
No. They have this thing where like all of the cousins, they get together like once or twice a year, and they sleep over, and they call it cousin power camp or what have you. I know it sounds really weird. Like white power camp is just like one.
I wasn't going there.
Okay,
my brain was not there.
Right.
But I'm kind of.
I was going there. But that's okay.
At any rate, they always have this donut eating.
What's the sign? I can't do it. My fingers don't work like that.
He felt like because his oldest cousin had won it the first time, and then my daughter had won it the second time. Like this was his time. This was his time.
His moment.
His moment. Yep. But no, alas, he did not win. My daughter was like, I love donuts. She inhaled it. I felt like she had been practicing like all year long.
That's awesome.
And
does she dunk them in water first, like the donut, like the hot dog guy?
It's like they're hung on a string. Okay. And so they're all hung kind of at each level because some of the cousins are really little and some are really tall. There's about 6 of them or 7.
So you keep it as fair as you can.
As fair as you can, yeah. And then they can't use their hands to eat it. It's just on a string.
Oh, okay.
So
the person with the biggest mouth has the biggest advantage.
Or the biggest leverage to get a bite on the bottom, and then you can get. But as it's a circle spinning around, it's really hard to get that first bite. Okay. So anyway, sorry, Nick, to interrupt.
No. Well, just my point was, and I'll make it short, but because my nephew is so competitive. And my brother-in-law, he runs the Boys and Girls Club in Knoxville, so he's used to dealing with kids and fairness and all that. But the youngest one, he does not know how to lose gracefully at all. I mean, he's one of the worst I've seen. And it's not like his father or me or any of us to be that competitive, but it's just because he's the younger sibling. But when he plays baseball or hockey or anything, if he doesn't shake hands after the game, or if he shows out or anything like that, like he's not even playing the next game. Like, that's my brother-in-law's call. It's just like, no, until you learn how to lose,
right,
and learn how to, you're not playing. And it's just, he's getting better. But that's what I mean. Like, but like, think about how many parents, I know you guys probably did too. Like, how many parents growing up did you see like your teammates crying or their parents being those sideline coaches just yelling at their kids for striking out or not catching a ball? It's like, and if your kids aren't super, properly, they're going to be those bullies. They're growing up to be those people. And at least that's how I've seen
it. I'd say that it's really what makes it hard with sports is that there's this certain competitive edge, and we're all competitive, all right, on some level.
Some people with even talking, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, some people even with talking. I assume you're talking about politicians, but
no, not.
What I was just going to say is that it is one of those things, though, that I think it's in its nature, right? Like sports being competitive and then pushing your kid to be better at that competitive thing.
I think nobody wants to lose. Nobody. I mean, like I told my kids at a young age, I said, if you're going to root for any team in San Diego, you got to get used to losing. It's just part of life. But Jay was never competitive as far as sports and stuff like that. He was just never competitive. In fact, I finally told him in baseball, look, if you're not going to practice, you don't have to do it. I go, because I told my wife, she goes, you got to keep making him do it. I go, no, he doesn't want to do it. I go, why are we making him do it? I go, it's just he hates it. He's out there doing Michael Jackson instead of he'd be doing Michael Jackson dances. He didn't want to be out there. And now there's nothing I want to do with Jay because he's so damn competitive. It's like nobody wants to play games with him because he ruins everything by being so competitive.
Fireball.
So I'll tell you, it kind of goes back to, it's kind of related to, I think, Matt, you mentioned before about, or maybe it was Jack, I can't remember what it was, but being able to stand up to when you're being bullied too, right? So it's the same thing as losing. And I was reading some story. I forgot what it was the punchline or the end of the story was, but it was about the generation of kids that are in college now, right? So they
no comment.
What's that?
I said no comment.
Why?
That's part of my job.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
I'll take my comments off air.
I was reading this article about like how they were analyzing kind of like the psychological side of college age students now and how they cope with loss, right? So Like it was,
they were dead the whole time.
And we've had this discussion before, so we don't have to go too far into it. But it's all the whole like the age of trophies for everybody. There's no first place. The participation awards.
You're all winners.
Like it's all these kids have kind of grown up with that, and they get to that point where like they have no concept of how to lose something, and they have like their first girlfriend, and they go to college, and all of a sudden they break up with that girlfriend, or they lose something, they fail their first class, or they do whatever, and they're kind of like in this real world scenario. And they have no effing concept on how to handle it.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. That's when you're having these students snap, right?
Yeah.
And which can end in a multitude of different types of disasters, right? So you're looking at people inflicting harm upon themselves, going into an environment where they're going to inflict harm on others. They just don't know how to handle it, and it's tough, So I mean, on one hand, I feel like we have to have that sense of competition. I guess the question is, at what age, at what level of intensity do you impress upon the idea of the competition side?
Well, I think the problem is we always go either this way or that way.
There's no in between.
And it's there. And I know I get crap all the time for saying it's in the middle. There's a middle. You have to teach how to win, how to lose gracefully. Mm-hmm. It's not okay. Just everybody wins, everybody loses. It's in the middle.
And part of that is not everybody's going to have the skills.
No,
not everybody's going to be as successful, and you have to be able to accept that. I grew up in a town
to apply yourself. I mean, these are some of the things that I don't see in students sometimes is that ability to adapt when things don't go your way, work towards your strengths, or even just applying yourself. Yeah. I had a student that maybe I didn't.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, let's say there's a student. No, I'll use myself as an example, okay? Because I used myself as an example.
Use my name, because I'd be that student.
When I was in it was probably 96 or 97, let's say. I had a teacher who forced me to use email. And I was really annoyed. And I was like, this is so dumb.
That happened to me in the 60s.
This is so annoying. I am never going to use this. This is going to who's going to use this? I used this example to a student and said, don't be like me. You think you can't do something because you don't want to try it. That's the whole roadblock.
Yeah, the fear.
And you have to put yourself out there and try and apply, and if you don't, you're going to be a sad sack who's like, well, I got left out because I got picked last place. Teacher gave me a B.
You're talking about that because I know when I was in junior high, our counselor was trying to get more guys to take typing, and I go, what would I need typing for? I'm not going to be a secretary. And I know that sounds sexist now, but at the time,
toxic masculinity right there.
But I'm just saying, at the time, it's like. Plus, going back, I didn't want to be the only guy taking typing. But what was I going to need typing for? Well, now, every day, I'm on a computer. I'm getting better, but I'm up to probably like 30 words a minute. but it's just like I'm no longer pecking. I can find the keys without looking down at them now. But it's just like, but no, it's just that when I was 11 and 12, guys did not take typing. If I knew what I knew today, sure, I would have done it.
Yeah.
But, just time. The times they are changing.
I mean, same. Sorry, Chris. I felt, I still do sometimes feel, because I grew up in such a small town, they started offering typing your junior year of high school in my high school. And that's the one time you took it. And now that's crazy because there's kids that are 4 or 5 years old that know how to type. But same thing. And I felt like that. There was an era there where it went from the old way to the new way very rapidly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going to college thinking hell, I can type 65 or whatever words per minute. I'm pretty good, And then
I'm going to get a good job.
Yeah, and it's like I took typing. No one else took typing.
I'll tell you where I learned how to type is I actually took one class in 8th grade. They called it keyboarding. It wasn't called typing. It was called keyboarding. Yeah. And I think I took another class in high school because it was one of those offered, electives. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to take a class. All I have to do is type words. But
so you're saying I made a mistake.
No. But I'll tell you what actually got me into practicing and what helped me kind of have it be a proficient language, if you will, was the dawn of AOL, right? When instant messaging first came up. And I started actually using the internet, albeit at 20 hours before I had to have my parents.
I was in my 30s,
but yeah. So like that's how I learned.
I was.
But real quick, going back to the whole competitiveness thing, I was going to say, like in my hometown, I grew up in a baseball town. Like my area, my town where I lived, the surrounding towns was like a breeding ground for really great baseball players. And, we had our little league was broken up into a couple different divisions, right? So I remember growing up, you played instructional baseball until you're 8 or 9 years old. And then you try out, and there's called the majors and the minors. And I remember, like, if you were good enough, you got to play in the majors. If you weren't good enough, you tried out, you played in the minors. And I remember that being probably one of my first like smack in the face realities of knowing that I'm not great at something until I had to practice. So the first year I tried out, I didn't make majors. I made minors, and I had an absolute blast. My dad actually helped coach that year. I had so much fun with all the guys and girl on my team. And then the next year, I tried out again, and I got into majors, and I got to play in the majors, which is awesome. There's like this sense of accomplishment. Sure. And then once you get beyond majors, it then breaks off from the Little League division off to a different league we called it Babe Ruth. You guys probably have heard of Babe Ruth baseball series. Yeah. Westfield, where I grew up, I think we won. I forgot what year. We hosted it one year. We won when it was in Vallejo, California. I remember, I'll never forget, like, so we're all listening to the radio when it happened. This is probably in the 80s or 90s. Can't remember what it was. But then again, you get to that crossroads where you try out for Babe Ruth, and you either make it, and if you don't make Babe Ruth, you go to a completely different league and you play seniors, which is like, the years above majors and minors. You play for seniors, which is a less competitive, less, and for lack of better words, a less talented league.
But you get to drink beer, and that was
and collect Social Security.
I was 16 at the time. I was not drinking beer and
on the seniors tour.
But yeah, so I didn't make Babe Ruth. I wasn't good enough to play Babe Ruth.
Yeah, I'm not competitive, but I made majors my first try.
There you go. But the thing is though, I mean,
I was 10.
But that's the point I'm trying to make, is that when I was growing up, we had those reality checks.
Yeah.
Like we had that. I mean, was I crushed as a kid when I didn't make it? Yeah, I cried. I remember crying about it, not making majors. Mm-hmm. But what did I do? Like my parents, because my brother, first of all, was much more talented than I was in playing baseball. He was actually a really good baseball player.
Younger or older?
Older.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I wasn't as good.
So it skipped a generation.
Yeah, totally did. But the thing is, though, is I had to learn how to deal with that. And I don't see that happening right now. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't see that. Like, I was crushed by it. But my parents encouraged me. I got back up. I practiced. I played in that league, and I made it the next year, right? And when I got to that league, it was determined was to go right towards the Babe Ruth or left towards the senior league. I didn't make it, but I was upset I didn't make it. But I had a blast playing the other direction. So
see, I think like you, I when I made it at 10, I was playing with 11 and 12-year-olds, but I didn't play a lot, right? Because I was just a kid. I would have been better off staying in the minors, because I would have played every inning. I would have played every. I was playing 2 or 3 innings a game. I'm like, and I was playing the outfield, which sucked. I would always be bored in the outfield because there's no one to talk to.
I'll tell you, and it's so the parents are so important in this. And I've actually never spoken about this out loud until right now, which is kind of crazy to me. But like I remember like wanting to do it so badly, because I remember my mom and my dad loved watching my older brother Jason play competitively baseball. And they loved watching me play as well. They loved watching us both play. My mom was like a superhero, getting us to practices and helping us deliver papers so we could get to practice on time. And back when we actually had paper boys. But like,
they have iPad boys.
So I know. So but I remember like not making those teams, but then my dad having an opportunity to coach. And I can tell you right now that those are probably the best memories that I have growing up with my dad when he was able to spend his time coaching and having an absolute blast with me. And we won the championship the year that my dad coached. And it was awesome.
My least favorite times with my dad was he was my coach my first 2 years in Caps when I was 8 and 9. And nobody knew more about baseball than my dad. I mean, he was just an encyclopedia of baseball. He just knew it. But he just was so hard on me. And every time someone did something wrong, I would run the laps. I go, but I wasn't even there. But he didn't want. He didn't want to punish the. He didn't feel right.
You.
He didn't want to punish the other. But I was in great shape. But he didn't want to punish the other kids. But I'd be like, I was on the other side of the field. So I was running. He just was very not hard on me, but he just was. Because he wasn't a tough, he wasn't a violent dad. He wasn't one of those. Gonna go home. My dad wouldn't talk to me. That was what hurt me. My dad would, if he was mad at me, he would. Because one time, a few years later, I wasn't happy with one of my coaches. I didn't go to practice. I said, screw it, I'm not going to practice. They're not playing me enough. I was about shooting basketballs down the street. He came driving by and he knew I was supposed to be at practice and saw me. I went, uh-oh. And they go, what, your dad's going to kick your ass? I go, no, he's not going to talk to me for a week. And he didn't talk. He just looked at me and goes, either you go to practice, or you don't. I don't care if you're playing or not. You should be playing but it's just one of those things where, so that hurt me more than getting a beating would be like someone not talking to me. So, but he was a rough guy to play with the first 2 years of my life.
Yeah.
So, just quick question, Chris, your dad still coach?
No.
Oh, okay.
he only coached when I was playing.
Oh, okay. I kind of thought so, but he could have been recruited. Oh, you're great. You took him to the championship. How'd you like to be an assistant coach with me?
I'll tell you though, we were like the Bad News Bears. Like no one, everyone
the original.
Well, actually, let me tell you a fun story. So we're playing. I was playing for the seniors. We're called. It was the Italian club. Was actually our team. So how baseball, like town baseball leagues, are sponsored by local business.
Italian club.
So we were the Italian club.
Very toxic and masculine.
Yeah. We had salami. We had provolone.
So we're playing this game, and then on the other team, it was another situation in which the dad was coaching, and the coach's son, this kid was like, 6 feet tall, like just kind of like an oaf and whatever. And I remember he was what was it? He was a catcher. That's what it was. He was a catcher, and we had this guy on our team who was smaller framed guy. I can imagine he was probably the size of Jack when he was 13, 14 years old.
4'11", 90 pounds.
Like this little dude, right? And he was a base runner, and the opposing team's son was the catcher. And I remember he put this tag on the kid that knocked him into next week, like unnecessarily. Like there wasn't like a close play. He tagged him and he just like tossed the kid. And I remember my dad, I don't know if this is appropriate, if I should be outing my dad for telling me this, but I'm sitting there and I'm a base runner like the next inning and I'm on third. And my dad's like, if you go into score, I want you to clean this kid out. So sure enough, I was on third base and it was a infield hit and the play was at home. And, I totally knocked this kid on his ass. It was awesome. It was one of those things where like, and I was out too. Like it didn't matter. Like I just totally took like this bully of a dude on the other team and just knocked him on his ass. I was out, unfortunately, and I actually got thrown out of the game.
See, I learned that from watching Pete Rose play in the All-Star game. He took out Ray Fosse, which ruined his. It was a catcher for the Oakland A's. He ruined his career by just taking him out for no reason at all. So that became how I went. I actually, even though I was only 90 pounds, it's all about leverage and where you hit them. Mm-hmm. And I would do that all the time. I would just do it. Nobody had to tell me. I just did it.
I only did something like that once. Is in football my senior year, and they left me in the fourth quarter for some reason when we were like winning this game by like 50-something to 3 or something. And this freshman running back was like, I mean, the most arrogant a-hole I'd ever met in my life. You know, just that kind of kid's like, I'm going to go play for Notre Dame. You know, I'm going to play for blah, blah, blah. You know, and he thought he was, 14-year-old kid. He thought he was the best. And
was his name Rudy?
Yeah, I just didn't Notre Dame, but he was like, I'm gonna play for Ohio State or something. And I don't know why. I guess because I was a tight end, they wanted me to he wanted to have a good block. You know,
were you tight end?
I was a tight end. Yeah.
Were you tight end? Okay.
I mostly played defensive end, but for some reason they put me in a tight end.
I played tight end as well.
And basically, when they called the play, I knew he was getting the ball because they wanted him to get experience, and I hated him. I mean, I hated him more than anything. And so as soon as the ball was snapped, I just stood straight up. I didn't even move. And because I was like, I'm going to let this guy get his clock cleaned, you know? And then sure enough, like I think it was 2 plays I did that right in a row. And then sure enough, the coach was like, okay, you're coming out. You know, like,
you're done.
Yeah.
My mom wouldn't let me play football. She said I was too fast and I would get the ball. So she was afraid I'd get hurt. But baseball probably hurt me more in my life than anything else. I could run over a catcher, but I couldn't play football. Yeah. I asked every single year, but no.
One thing I was going to say, Chris, about like the one exception to the rule, I think with like weird things with baseball and making it, I agree. Like that's the way it should be. Is that it motivates you by having tiers to say like, hey, like I want to be in that group. It's like karate. Like why you have different colored belts is because it motivates you. Like I want to be a black belt. I want to do that. You know, and it's up to you how much your skill will be. But when I played baseball, I don't know if Jay was this way, but I know him now. Like he's very cerebral, like I am. Like I like to think about strategy and like that. So I didn't understand baseball until I got probably right at the Babe Ruth level. Like I always didn't understand. I was like I was that person that had the arm that could throw it from left field to first base. You know, but like I would get yelled at, like, why are you not hitting the cutoff man? I'm like, well, why would I hit the cutoff man when I can just throw it to first? And no one ever properly taught me the game. And so when I got to Babe Ruth, it was a much bigger deal. But because I grew up in the county versus the city, like it was a very much like city group, you know. So the coach of this particular team that I got drafted to, he only played the kids that he knew he was friends with. You know, like, I'm Jack's boy. I'm going to play Jack's boy. I'm going to play Chris's boy. And he never played me ever. And I went to every practice. I did everything I was supposed to do, but he never played me. So finally I just like, are you going to play me? And he said no. And I was like, okay, well, then I quit because I just thought I wasn't good enough. And then 2 years later, our baseball coach in high school said, you should try out. Like you're a pretty good athlete. You should try for the baseball team. And sure enough, I made the team. And he's like, why have you not been playing baseball so long? I was like, well, I thought I wasn't any good. You know, and that's what I mean. Like he just, because that one guy, when I was probably 12 or 11, made me think like, oh, I suck.
Right.
So, I mean, so sometimes I agree with like everyone should have a chance to play rule, even if they're not good or not. But then I also agree, like you should earn where you're at.
For sure. Yeah.
That's just a bad coach.
Yeah, he was.
I had not a great experience playing baseball, mainly because there was a divorce happening at the same time. Yeah. And that kind of really messed with me, especially my parents bringing people to the game and the relatives, and it was almost kind of like there was its own drama. Yeah, and then on top of it, I wasn't great at hitting, and so it's the last game of the season. It's our championship game, and I get up to bat, and I'm like, and I know the pitcher too. I know him, and I'm like, I want to hit a ball off of him. That would just make my day to hit this ball. It's my mom and my dad are there. My soon-to-be stepdad is, it's like
the scout for the Yankees.
I know it was a crap show, So I step up and I hit the ball. Like, I mean, it was like the first time all season I had hit. I'd hit it in practice, but in the game, But here's the thing. I hit the ball off of my middle finger. And, I mean, it was like a bunt, basically. Where
were you holding the bat?
Where was it? Well, it doesn't matter, okay? I hit the ball. I was out pretty quickly because I had kneeled over in pain. Meanwhile, first base coach is just
you gotta suck it up.
Run, Matt. And I'm like,
I lost all respect for you.
I know your pain, dude. Like I remember, I actually got hit in the hands swinging the bat off of. Later, it ended up being one of my good friends, but my finger has been crooked ever since.
Oh wow!
I see that there.
Nice.
That definitely
I hit it off the fingernail, so I lost that fingernail that summer. The whole fingernail was black.
So you couldn't paint it.
No, it was already painted. It was painted blue. So
there's a picture of me at home. I wish I could find it or get Mom to send me a Photoshop of it or something. It's from Mr. Pringles.
Nice.
Yes, it's the Italian club baseball hat.
Hey, can you come up with 2 photos because we have 2 emails, so I want to make sure.
So
Matt
has drawn for a lucky winner today a replica of the Italian club baseball cap, which I was texting. We're in our group chat as we're doing the show, and Matt had asked earlier via text, he goes, were your shirts red checkered tablecloths? And I said, no, but we did have our baseball cap to the logo of the Pringles guy, which it didn't, but the recreation has been made and well should have.
That's a pretty cool hat.
Like, I would actually buy that hat. Is that hat available anywhere? Crazy Hank, what you got?
Well, there you go. So for later in the show, we'll give that away. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh my God, there is a
no worries.
We're gonna need another drawing, but go ahead, Nick.
Well, I was saying, like, it's a picture someone took of me while I'm sitting in my dad's truck, and it has to be 93 or 94 because I'm wearing a Super Bowl hat of when the Bills played the Cowboys, and
couldn't have been 94.
Okay, or 90. It's probably I'm young. I'm probably 11 or 12, so it's somewhere in it.
The Chargers played in that Super Bowl. That's what I know.
But I had gotten
wait. The San Diego
Chargers. But I had gotten beamed by the baseball, and you can see the seams perfectly right around my eye. Where
nice.
The ball. I just remember looking at that picture, going like, "Geez, I really kept my eye on the ball on that one." Like, just.
Well, you did what you were told to.
Yeah, I kept. I took one for the team. It was a free walk. I actually was that kid that liked getting
hit.
Sorry.
Oh, we lost you, Nick.
I froze up there. I was saying I actually liked being the kid that got hit by the ball in baseball because I was like, hey, I get a free base. Why not?
I learned at a young age that because one time I was batting and I hit the catcher's glove, and the umpire said, "I go, hey, no, I hit his glove. And I knew that. I was like 9 or 10. I said that's catcher's interference because knowing my dad had taught me everything. And the umpire goes, "Oh, you're right." So what I would do is I would back at certain times that if I need to get on base, I would back up all the way. And I'd purposely hit the catcher's glove. So I hit him and boom, and I'd go to first base.
So that happened to me the same year my dad was coaching, and it happened twice in the same at bat, and the umpire called me out, which led to the second time that season that I got thrown out of a baseball game.
That's catcher's interference, man.
I actually ended up getting a formal apology from they call them the commissioner, but it's the guy who runs the league.
the guy who's sitting in the corner drinking the beer.
Yeah, exactly. And I got an apology after the fact, but I argued it, and they threw me out of the game for arguing the fact that hit the catcher's mitt.
Yeah, that's automatically that's your get first base.
Yeah,
because my dad actually said, he goes, "Are you doing that on purpose?" I go, "Yes."
What if I drove my son to?
Yeah, I didn't care if I broke someone's hand. Well, when I first started playing Little League, they didn't have that helmet thing over the mask. You just turn your cap. You just turn your cap around,
right?
Put the helmet on. And I used to love to catch, and I was like, I think it was 9 playing in caps, and I turned my head one time, and the ball hit me in the side of the head. I go, I don't want to do this anymore. But later on, I was always the backup catcher because they had the full protection. So I didn't mind that. But it explains a lot why I have maybe have some brain damage. Good times, though. Good times.
Well, this has been an interesting Ramblecast.
Yeah, it has been.
This is basically a sports talk.
It's a sports talk, but
screw Dean Spanos.
We talked a lot about how to raise kids right, which is good.
Right. Do it our way, and your kid will be perfect.
So, Jack, did you say we had some emails?
Oh yeah, emails. Yeah.
I did want to talk about real quick though.
Sure.
We finally fixed up my daughter's room because we have some family coming out this weekend, and my daughter's been out for like a year and a half. So it's been a storage room, and we've had all the stuff for like 2 years, other than the paint, to fix this room up. So I'm up there. My wife comes up and goes, "Do you want some help?" I go, "No." I'm like putting furniture together. It's like this little desk that she has. Of course, she wants to help me. And, of course, that leads to a fight. Even though I said, no, I don't want any help. She goes, well, I'm so surprised you're not here cussing and stuff like that. And I was tired. I was sore. I was all this stuff. Anyway, I don't know if you guys have had the same issue. Nick, you're not married. But if I tell someone, no, I'm good, I don't need any help, I don't know how that translates into, okay, I'm going to help you.
No, I can totally sympathize with my mom because, like, moving out to California or moving from Eastern California to LA, like, you have everything boxed up. You're in me, like, I want to do everything myself because I know where everything should go. And it'd be one of those moments where I'm loading my truck and I'm putting the heavy boxes at the bottom, and Mom's like, I'm going to help. And I'm like, no, I've got it. And then she'll take all the light boxes and put them on the bottom. So I'm like, why did you put the light box on the bottom? The heavy one's going to crush it. You know, he's like, why are you yelling at me? I'm like, because you're doing it wrong. You know,
you're braver than me. I could never yell at my mom.
Yeah, I don't yell, but I let her know
she'd kill me.
Yeah, not to help.
It's like today
mask on, Mom.
Our toilet and our spare bathroom's been running. You know, it just has that. So
where's it going?
It's going all over the place. But you know how the water keeps running, so it needs a new inner stuff like that.
Oh yeah, the inners.
So we go to Home Depot and it says complete set.
Mm-hmm. I know what you're talking about.
So I was working on that before we recorded. And I go, wait, where's the handle?
Was it the Flush King? Is that the brand?
I don't know what it was. Okay. So anyway, I go, where's the damn handle to the toilet? Because the other one's old, and you need that other piece that, you know, makes the water come up and all that different stuff. My wife goes, I go, well, damn, it doesn't come with it. He goes, well, you should have read that. I go, well, I stopped when it said complete set. Complete set should mean it's everything that I need. So now I have to go to Home Depot tomorrow to get the little handle and the little thing that makes it go up.
I hate messing with that toilet crap.
I hate it too, but she was like going, you should have read it. But I did. It says complete set. Well, I mean, if you saw complete set, wouldn't you think it would have everything you need?
It's false advertising.
So I'm the dummy. I'm the loser. Anyway, I just had to get that off my chest. And F you, Dean Spanos.
I will just commiserate with your spousal duties. You know, at some point on the weekend. You know, it's Sunday, and you know the game's on. I want to watch the game. You know, I just want to be inside. You know, but sometimes the wife calls and says, "Hey, you know, no, we're going outside. We're gonna cut down these limbs." And so she got this tree trimmer thing. It's like an extendable tree trimmer, and it's a little tricky, you know, to figure it out. But you know, I've had a lot of neck, shoulder pain the last couple. So I'm reaching, and I'm a tall guy, and I'm reaching really up high, you know, getting these really tall branches. But then there's a string attachment, and so she's doing the actual pulling of the string while I'm holding the pole. And it was a strange group effort where I just had to let her kind of help. and at some point, because the branches, you know, as you're cutting them, the branches are coming down, right?
Yeah.
And you know,
that's what happens.
Yeah, and you're trying to get out of the way. And I told her, I said, this is a true metaphor of marriage, not our marriage, but true metaphor of marriage. You're working together at something that could kill you.
Which you're right, it's marriage.
Yeah.
At any time, it could kill you.
I know. I actually watched my first NFL game this week. The Chargers played in London, and my wife's been bugging me about. She's trying to get me back into. She basically said, "Look, you need to pick a team next year, and we're going to support that team." And I said, "Well, what team?" She goes, "What about Carolina?" And I go, "No, I can't stand their fans." And I apologize, but you guys are obnoxious. You're the worst fans in the world. So I said, look, I go, if I'm going to root for anyone around here, I'd root for Baltimore because their fans were the coolest. That we went there twice, and they were literally the best fans in the world. If you listen to Sports Talk, Three Stupid Guys, you'd heard me say that. I go, but I don't know if I can do that because I still think the Chargers are going to move back to San Diego.
I think so too.
I still believe that, even though the Titans should have beat them this week. Why were they going for 2, Nick? Tie the game, go into overtime, you dominate. Anyway, going to Spanos, the stupid owner of the Chargers, he spent $150 million on the move to go to LA so far. They've lowered the ticket prices going into the new stadium, and because they can't sell the tickets, they've lowered their payroll. Their operating budget because they're not making any money. So $150 million. All right, do the math with me. The NFL was going to give them $300 million. So we're at $450 million now.
I was told no math.
And moving the team to LA is going to cost him $650 million, which he has to start paying next year. So by my math, that's 1.1. Wait, was that 800 and?
They all add up to 108.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, 150, 450, 650. That's $1.5 million. That's 1.1 billion, right?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, the city was willing to give the Chargers the land that the current stadium is on. Has all the infrastructure. You're not telling me you couldn't have built a stadium for $1.1 billion on the current site and own the stadium? And because the reason he moved to LA because he thought his team would double in value, it didn't. It only went up $200 million, which was the same value it would have gone up as they were still in San Diego.
And it's made the Rams look great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But if you own the stadium, what would the value of your team be then? All right, F you, Dean Spanos. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say.
So that's what my boy Robert Kraft did.
Yeah, for $450 million. But what was the logic there? You know what? Because his daddy was the rich guy, and he gave. And I'm not against people being handed stuff, silver spoon crap. But when you don't know what you're doing and you screwed over loyal fans to move to a city that said, "Hey, don't move here. We don't want you," and you still move there anyway. That's all I got. But hopefully they'll move back. I said, okay, if the Chargers move back, I'll root for the Chargers. But I guess we might be Baltimore fans next year. That's all I got. So let me get these.
I'd go with the Falcons, but that's me.
The Falcons? Why the Falcons?
They've been there and I didn't do that.
Patriots.
I tried the Patriots and they screwed me over. So I don't know if I can do them again.
I'll tell you, we literally have the worst defense ever.
I feel bad for you guys being competitive for 20 straight years. Shut up.
Well, anyway. We still win. So
I know. I'm just what I'm saying. 20 straight years of anyway
of crap.
All right. This email came in October 3rd of 2018. Oh, that's
all
not
right.
too
So
bad.
Hey, guys.
Time out.
We're in the same month.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad.
That's fine. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And real quick, what is the email in case anybody else wants to email?
Well, it's after. Well, let me see. I'll look it up in a second because
sorry.
They keep sending it to jandjacktv@gmail.com or jandjack. I don't know where they're sending it.
I posted it in the show notes the one time that Nick was on vacay.
I think it's after dark. Ramble after dark @gmail.com.
I think you're right. I'm going to look that up. You read the email.
Okay. I was enjoying your rambling, and Nick began talking about peanuts and cotton no longer growing in his area. He sounded like he was on the right track when he started to say something about government and other corporation starts, and then Jack interrupted him, and the thread was lost. Now, you sure it was me? You sure it was me? I'm pretty sure it was Chris, but I'm just throwing.
See, I get the bad rap of cutting people off, and I am nowhere near the most egregious offender.
If you listen to the beginning of this podcast, everyone's going to disagree with you, Chris.
It is ramblecastafterdark@gmail.com. That is the email if you want to send it to us.
And now Matt's interrupting all of us.
I do remember that. I remember that talking. I don't remember what the point was. But
I do apologize, but don't I say, hey, I'm sorry first? Don't I say? Whatever. It doesn't matter. I almost died podcasting. I think I should get a little bit something there.
So the email is bitter that you interrupted me. So I like this email. It's a good email.
Yeah, whatever. When Nick started again, he said that after World War II, we started growing soy.
It's true.
Soybeans. Mm-hmm. So much because the demand for this was in Asia and other places. So most countries just grow corn and soybeans. I would have to say that growing all corn and soy doesn't have anything to do with demand, as Matt says. Oh, so Matt was right here, I guess. It's a very controlled market. The government and corporations decide what is grown, and then they try to find money-making schemes, such as evil high fructose corn syrup.
That it is.
And to get rid of the surplus, animals are forced to feed corn and soy diet that is unhealthy for them, and they should never be eating. It's almost like people are being force-fed corn and soy because the food system is so flooded with it.
I quit eating most. If I look now at the labels, if it has high fructose corn syrup, I don't eat it. Like I quit eating Ritz crackers, which I love Ritz crackers. I quit eating them because of that reason.
Before I took the 23andMe, I used to call corn maize, but now I have to call it corn.
You do because you're more English than
yeah. Well, I'm like Elizabeth Warren. I should call it corn.
Moonbat. She is such a moonbat.
I'm sorry I had to say that because anyway, I'm more Indian than she is, but that's okay.
Everybody's more Indian than she is.
That was the stupidest. She's an idiot.
She's an idiot. She basically blew her chances of ever running president.
Well, she blew her chances in the beginning because she lied. Not to lie, because we're all taught. I mean, we're all from the time I was born. I was told, "Oh yeah, you're Cherokee. You're Cherokee. You got Cherokee." And then when I got the 23andMe, I was like, "Wait, I'm just white. What the hell?"
Even if my parents had told me, "Oh, we're part Native American," I would have just been like, yeah, whatever.
Elizabeth Warren stands for a lot of good things, but she shoots herself in the foot when she opens her mouth over stupid things. This thing being one of them.
Yeah, and I hate to get political, but I thought it was a funny joke.
She gives liberals a bad name.
Liberals a bad name. Okay, where was I? If you're interested. Okay, go ahead.
Who's the email by?
Yeah. Well, Nick just interrupted me, emailer.
Well, I wanted to know who the email was about. I wasn't sure if you were.
Well, I'm not done yet. If you let me, now I lost my train of thought. If you're interested in studying in the history, a good start is Roosevelt's New Deal and Nixon era of corn policy. Keep up the great rambling and interrupting. 5 stars. There's an entertaining documentary titled King Corn. Here's a PDF with some of the corn facts behind King Corn. Jeff, 750 miles outside of Raleigh. So what does Jeff win, Matt?
Well, I guess, it seems corny, but I guess, just because I have it done already, you get this hat drawing.
The Pringles hat.
The Chris's walk down memory lane hat.
It's potato based though. It should be corn or soy.
I realize, and if you'd like me to, I can draw up.
Well, doesn't Pringles have corn chips?
Do they?
I don't know. I don't know if there is really any connection. I've been trying to draw a second drawing.
I used to call them maize chips. But
were you jealous, Jack, when I was in Iceland that I found original Doritos?
Yes. Oh, you found the original Doritos? You found them?
Well, they were.
I remember.
You commented on them.
No, I remember that now. Yes.
Yeah,
I told you I was a catcher and got hit in the head with a ball.
Yeah, first plane out. Because that's what they were. They were just plain, lightly salted Dorito chips. That's all they were.
I remember that. And you brought some back for me?
No.
All right. Anyway, we got a second email. This one was dated July 31st.
Okay,
wow.
That's more accurate. Yeah, that's good Ramblecasting right there.
Hey guys. First off, I can hear Harvey Korman scream, "It's Headley." So we must have been saying Headley Lamar from Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
Headley Lamar.
Yeah. Were we all saying it wrong?
I just watched the show, the movie. I don't think I'd. But I don't know. Who knows?
I probably said it wrong.
Hurdler.
Yeah. I didn't get a hump from that guy. Let's see. Secondly, I'm sorry, Nick, that you will be the other guy to Jack. I will buy you a round of beer next time I see you to make it up to you. I'll let you know if I'm headed up to LA and HB and have some great spots if you're ever down this way. Probably Huntington Beach, I guess, right?
Yeah, Huntington Beach.
Had to explain that to the guy from Indiana and Massachusetts. I'm sure they didn't know what HB was.
Huh? HB? I've got an HB printer. Hewlett Packard. Bought it off the street. Works great.
Yeah.
If you can't get the Ramblecast session at Comic-Con going, remember I was talking about doing that?
We should.
I'm gonna put it in there and see if we can get it. Maybe set up an off-site show for nearby breweries. Oh, that would be nice. And create a theme pop-up. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Nick, just interrupted me.
There is a brewery though right there next to the Padre Stadium, Petco, and I know that they've done a couple podcasts there in the past. If you can get the spot, and so you can do a live one right there.
Are Nick and Chris gonna Matt and Chris gonna make it out next year?
That's a hard one, guys. Mainly just because July is kind of is the last month of vacation for us before heading in, and so June and July are very precious months for
your family. Doesn't want to go to San Diego.
I got to bring them with me.
You know how many people like to go to San Diego? Have you ever been to San Diego?
No, I don't believe I've been to San Diego. I've been to LA.
I'm just going to go ahead and say that Chris is going to say no as well because he'll have a 3-month-old at the time.
Yeah, probably not. But you can just prop up an iPad on the desk and I'll do it via FaceTime.
I'll make a facsimile drawing to send.
There you go. If Taco Bell can get a huge line for his Demolition Man pop up, maybe you can set up maybe we can set up an Owen Barew's barbecue stand. Except get Matt to let you know when and where it is.
I'd like to know when and where it is.
I guess Shandy will be coming down for that one. Looking forward to more entertaining episodes that relieved you load the makeup for pause and stride and turn it into a very funny story. Keep up the great work, Eric. So what does Eric win, Matt?
The Unabomber drawing?
Well, I don't have a Unabomber drawing.
Who was that in the glasses?
What that was just me working on a self-portrait.
So, that was you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think a
Unabomber.
What if we
you get the Unabomber me?
Maybe Eric would like a self-portrait of Matt.
Could actually put both of these together, and it's me wearing a hat.
Exactly.
So, something like that. Anyway, because we've been talking about nail polish, I've been practicing nails for a while here, but they just didn't. I just really didn't like kind of how some of the hands were turning out. This is probably my first one.
It's basically candy corn. Yeah.
I actually like that one.
Oh, you do? You like
this
a
one? Sex toy? Just don't get any paper cuts.
I don't know what it's holding on to.
A stress ball.
I hadn't finished this out, but I could turn that into the Pringles guy.
People love their drawings because they keep posting them on our patrons page.
I love it. I think it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate it as well, and it's just something fun that I get to do to the listeners. I get to do it to the listeners.
I get to do it to the listeners. Yeah,
no,
man.
I just want to share in the drawings with the listeners. It's fun, and I appreciate everybody that posts them. It's something fun that I can share in.
Not to be a jerk, but I did warn you ahead of time that we'd need two.
Yeah, I just keep waiting for a request to do something like the hokey pokey AC/DC style. You put the left foot in. Something weird.
Well, why don't we do that next week? You're not here next week, Chris, right?
Correct.
Because we got JP, and JP has an update on the electrical bill for Mr. Lee.
Oh,
yes.
He gave me the update.
I almost passed out but You'll get the update next week from.
Tune in next week for an incredible end to that.
Oh my God!
Can't wait. I'm very excited about having JP back on the show and learning more about Mr. Lee. So
Mr. Lee is pissed. That's what I'm saying. Well, no, you didn't have to pay it, I guess. So
no, the Ma Bell or whoever it is, or whoever electric company you're using was pretty pissed.
Ma P is going to be because she's going to have to pay it.
so listen up for the follow up to JP's story, and if you have any emails, again, I mentioned the email earlier.
And I do check it like every other day now because I don't want to be that guy that doesn't check the emails. So
if you send in an email or you give us a review, I'll try to do a drawing during the show as fast as I can.
I'm checking that right now.
I was going to say, did we get any reviews? Because then Matt would have to get more.
Oh man, geez,
we haven't gotten any in a while.
I can't promise that they're all great, but or that you're going to love the one that you get. So
I think I don't think anyone's complained so far.
All right, here I did an update to the nail drawing, and now it is grabbing.
That is beautiful. I like that.
Mr.
Pringles Man with I like it.
So that's to Eric, and the first one's to Jeff, right? Is it Jeff?
Jeff and Eric. Oddly enough, the names of my cousins.
So. No, we haven't gotten it. Last review was September 20th by Drake, our celebrity endorsement. It just says I like Matt.
Yeah, and Drake, if you do not get your drawing, if somehow it got lost in that South Carolina, mail system, you just let me know.
He probably rolled it up and put something in it.
Yeah, well, that'd be nuts.
Ran out of papers.
So,
all right, I'll send an email to Eric and Jeff saying, "Hey, we need your address."
Yes.
All right. Of course, Eric is probably going, "What? What? How many months ago?" October 3rd, though. Like that's not bad, though.
That's within the month, and we will get better at reading those emails.
Yeah, we're there. I can't play phone calls yet because I don't have a mixer anymore.
Also, I wanted to give a shout out to Joanne with the plan. I know she had asked us to watch Nanette. I have not watched it yet. It is on my radar as something that I need to watch. But I've been thick in the middle of Daredevil, trying to get through that, enjoying it. So
I finished Man in the High Castle.
Yeah, I just started it.
I finished it as well. Very, very
well.
Good.
Hopefully, when Chris comes back, maybe Chris, Nick, and Jack, and maybe I'll put it on my docket to watch Man in High Castle. Maybe we can.
Have you watched any of it yet?
I watched the first episode, but that show puts me to sleep for some reason.
The first season I think is very good, but yeah, it takes a second to get into, and then it's good. And then season 2 is not as good as season 1, but it still is. And then I don't know.
I liked season 2.
I don't know about the third yet.
I'll say this: season 3 was excellent.
I loved season 3.
I was okay with season 2. I mean, it wasn't the best, but it's. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people say.
Well, season 3 got a new.
Netflix
I was a bit confused with this first episode back because it's been over a year and a half since I watched it.
Yeah, it did take me a while to catch up.
I didn't remember there being an element of 2 dimensions, but
what?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Spoiler!
It's not really a spoiler.
It's kind of the basis of the entire show.
Yeah.
And now you think people wonder why we interrupt Nick.
Hey, it's a debate show. Come on.
What I did think was interesting is how they've introduced J. Edgar Hoover this season.
Yes.
I haven't gotten there yet. So,
well, it took me a while to realize that's who it was in this thing. I'm like going. They kept mentioning him. I go, oh wait a minute, that's who it is.
I didn't get it until there's one scene. You're like, oh.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm like, that was cool how they did that.
And they kept saying his name, but it wasn't clicking with me.
It's the same as with episode 1 at the very end when the America Fuhrer or whatever comes in, dedicates to the sun, dedicates that thing to the sun. He's a Rockefeller, and because the Rockefellers were sympathetic to the Nazis.
Through that first episode.
That's so brilliant because the Rockefellers were sympathetic to the Nazi Germany. So it makes total sense that they would be on top of a ruling class of America if not taking over. I was like, wow, that's really smart. So
it's a smart show.
Yeah.
Well, let's. I don't know. I know I have a lot more to catch up.
Well, you have time because Chris isn't here next week.
Right. So, and I'm going to finish this Daredevil. But Joanne, I will try to also get to Nanette so I can.
Yeah, I keep forgetting Nanette is on my list of things to do.
I might have to watch that on my flights.
Flights. You don't have direct flight?
I do actually. I'm flying JetBlue direct.
Oh, nice. They're getting a good deal going.
Yeah. I didn't pay for it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Well, that's even better.
Yep.
Were you muting your train there?
I was muting the train.
I wasn't sure who the train was, but
it was me.
Don't be ashamed of it. I let the sirens blare. Come on.
Petticoat Junction.
Let it all hang out.
Some people have even made a drinking game out of it that you have to chug for as long as you hear the siren.
I haven't heard a siren today.
You should embrace it, seeing as locomotives were invented in your state,
in Ohio. Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen Petticoat Junction?
No.
No, but on a serious note, I'm going.
There's a little hotel.
I'm going to have to
shady rest at
myself.
I
root all over myself. Actually,
I think we're all right now. I think we're wrapped up. No one has seen Petticoat Junction with me.
Yeah, I know the show. Yeah, every time, and it's another Ron White joke. Every time I hear Petticoat Junction, I think of Ron White because same thing was that. If you never heard that bit, he was like, I was doing a stand-up show, and usually you can just see the first row, and this woman sitting there, and I can see the slip of her dress or her underwear, and I go, Miss, could you close your legs? She goes, I can see your underwear. She goes, it's not my underwear, it's a petticoat. And he goes, well, I can see the junction. That's what I just think of. I don't know.
Petticoat Junction. It's a great theme song. Anyway, that's all I got. Is that it? We're done?
Yeah, we're done.
So if you shop Amazon, right?
Yes.
Anyway, Matt usually take care of this one.
I do, yeah, because I've been shopping my Halloween outfit. Hopefully, I'll post some pictures. My whole family's going Star Wars themed this season. So my son is going to be an X-wing pilot. My daughter loves Ahsoka. She's going as Ahsoka, and I myself, I'm a Han Solo fan. So got the belt. It was the holster feels weird. No one's going to
pumpkin spice.
Yeah, I've got some spice that I'm smuggling.
No, pumpkin spice.
About
pumpkin
that, so let's keep that on the deal.
It is Han Solo season.
What's Shandy going as?
Shandy? That's not my wife. My wife, though,
I'm sorry,
is going to go as Princess Leia from Endor. She's got the green poncho. Put her outfit together pretty quickly. And even our dog Baxter is going as Chewbacca.
You're taking a chance letting Baxter out?
Well, he was going to be on a leash, so
okay, all right.
We are taking a chance because we have lost that dog a couple times. But
random theory. Did you guys read that article about how Leia got her dress from the Ewoks in?
I did, yeah. I thought it was a bit kind of clickbait material, really. I was just like, you're really reaching here. Like, yeah, okay, maybe they killed some poor bastard and they, whatever. I like the idea that it could relate to their religion with C-3PO, like the first sign is princess will show up, and the second sign is a golden god will come from the sky.
Ooh.
And the third is the giant moon will explode. I don't know. Who knows? So, yub nub.
I'm convinced.
Nub.
Yeah, yub nub. I'll see you guys next week.
But you never talked about the Amazon where they could shop it.
No, I didn't. I guess I didn't. It's shop Amazon/jayandjack.com. I think that's the affiliate link.
Because everything will helps, and it's right before it's getting towards Christmas season. But
there's Christmas season too. Yeah.
And you're gonna buy presents anyway, right?
Just to reiterate, it's actually Amazon.com/jayandjack. Although I don't know how many episodes we're in now. Colleen can probably remind us of that, but we still can't get it right.
I do tell people to go to jayandjack.com because it's right there.
I do have a shortcut on my.
Make sure you go to google.com and do a search for Amazon.
Why is that? I don't know why our Amazon numbers drop every month.
First go to Google and Google Jay and Jack to get to jayandjack.com to hit Amazon/Jay and Jack.
Oh yeah. And if you want to become a patron, just go to jayandjack.com. There's a button to become a patron. It's the easiest way to do it because I can give you the information, but you'll probably spend an hour trying to figure it out. That stupid bastard told me it was this and I can't find it. Screw it, I'm going to go be a patron on something else. But you become a patron and all that stuff. And, we like to thank 5 patrons at this time. We thank all our patrons. We thank them all. Tack from Tokyo, Eckhart Richter Gladfelter, Ed the Letter Carrier, Maggie the Magnificent, and Joanne with the. Isn't she in Tokyo somewhere right now?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, it's just so Joanne with a plan. Have fun while you're in Tokyo. That's all I got. Hasta luego. And goodbye.
See ya.
Great shot, kid. That's 1 in a million.
Great shot. That's not how it goes.
It's what Han would say.
Hey, great kid. Let's blow this thing. Go home.
No,
yeah,
he would say, "Great kid, don't get cocky."
Almost there.
Don't get penisy.
Almost there. Torpedoes away.
Bah.